Marvel's Werewolf by Night is here. It is finished. We have done it again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, be sure to give it a like, comment, and subscribe for more content, as we are going to be covering more MCU content, and I will be posting other videos in the future. But, ladies and gentlemen, we got a special one. We have the Halloween special, Werewolf by Night. Now, here's the thing. I didn't think that we were ever going to have this special come out, just because they never really promoted it. And I think that's something that they kind of missed on, because here's the thing. Although this is a special, this is just an entirely new world of the MCU that we're really looking at. And it's so hard to believe that it isn't getting the promotion that it deserves. I don't know. You know, us, the try-hard fans, we know that this was coming. But to the casual people, there really hasn't been a whole lot of promotion about it. Everything has just been sort of hidden. And I think especially since She-Hulk is still running, especially with the fact that we just got Daredevil yesterday, I think that this show came out at a very bad time. But regardless of the timing, the actual special itself, oh my God. All right, let's get into it. So, this isn't an origin story. There is no origin story. So, the main concept is this. Ulysses Bloodstone was a world-famous monster hunter who passed away. And because of that, his Bloodstone, which is a special artifact that gives the user special abilities, is now being put up. Not for sale, but to decide who earns it. There is a big old monster hunt featuring these different monster hunters across the MCU. Now, another thing to point out is that they introduced his daughter as well, Elsa Bloodstone. Not a huge fan of the way that she's portrayed in this. I thought that they probably could have went with someone better as the actress. It's just my honest opinion. But here's the thing. I was so excited for this. So the main concept is these monster hunters have gathered, and they're all going to compete to take down one giant monster, and whoever wins gains the Bloodstone. So, again, this isn't an origin story. This is just a simple event that just happens to tie these two together. Now, we end up learning that there is one person named Jack Russell who is going to participate in this monster hunting tournament. However, the main thing about it is that he's actually not really a monster hunter. We end up finding out that he's actually here to help his friend. We end up finding out his friend is actually a Man-Thing. So the main thing about this is that it's all about sort of saving his friend. But man, let me tell you something. The way this special is portrayed, it is one of those classic Universal horror films, right? You look at Frankenstein, The Mummy, you know, like the original Wolfman. I'm trying to think of what other ones. Did they do The Invisible Man as well? Like, this was a lot of good old classic horror films. And you can tell it's in black and white. And it does look like in a way where it is kind of like sort of maybe cheap on one side. Or maybe, you know, sort of not really the best of modern effects. And that's the whole point. It's supposed to look like one of these old-fashioned Universal horror stories. And I'm okay with that. So, moving on to the story. The hunters pretty much gathered. They're pretty much told what they're going to do. They end up going into like this giant maze where Man-Thing is presuming or is hiding in. And the whole thing is that they attach the Bloodstone to the back of Man-Thing's back. So in order to get the Bloodstone, you pretty much have to take him out. We end up finding out later that these other monster hunters, we don't really get a whole lot of them. They're just sort of there to just sort of fill in the place of the monster hunters. But it really does sort of give you guys a sense of like what the MCU has. And it's like, oh, the MCU, you know, has monster hunters and they're everywhere now. So they do a lot of cool things with this. The gore is actually pretty, like, how do I even say it? It's pretty over the top. I mean, I was like, there's a lot of things, right? There's like cutting off arms. They literally, like, you see blood as well, but because it's in black and white, it's automatically just black, which is something that the old horror movies did have. You know, they were able to get a little bit more away with it. Like, for example, if a PG-13 movie came out tomorrow and it was in black and white, you could kind of get away with a little bit more of these stuffs just because the color really takes away from that whole blood and gory stuff. So, like, in this one, we saw literally, like, there was this one scene where, like, Elsa literally, like hits this guy in the head with, like, a sword, and you actually see the sword in this guy's head, the blood rushing out. But because it's in black and white, it's not as graphic as, like, it would be in color. So, main point, continuing on with the story, Jack Russell ends up finding Man-Thing, and man, let me tell you something. This guy looks good. So they went CG with him, which makes sense. I was honestly expecting like a practical like Man-Thing, like an actual suit, but they went full on CGI, which is fine. I don't think that bothers anybody. I mean, it's a whole thing about, you know, like this swamp creature. They actually do call him by his name, which is Ted, which is a reference to his actual name before he turned into the Man-Thing, which is Theodore Salas. So it's nice that they brought it up here. It seems like him and Jack have had this friendship, because of course these monsters, you know, might as well stay together. So again, it makes sense for them to become friends in this, and it was really, really cool. You actually see Man-Thing, he sort of like he burns a lot of people whenever he grabs onto you, because that's his whole thing. And you know, we end up finding out a little bit more about Jack and Elsa, and then we get to the big part in which Jack ends up touching the Bloodstone, which sort of triggers it sort of has like a monster defense in it, where it will literally hurt any monster that touches it. So I guess that's one of the things about the Bloodstone. So it's pretty really cool. So now we get to the big part. There is sort of a sacrifice in which they're going to be sacrificing Elsa to Jack. And here we get it. We get the reveal of the werewolf by night. And let me tell you something. They went really good. Okay, it's practical, and it's old fashioned, right? Because I remember when this was originally announced, a lot of people were concerned that if they were going to go full on CGI or if they were going to go practical, and they did go practical, which is really, really cool. So you actually do get to see the sort of the hairs, and you see sort of the little, I don't know if they did any effects on his mouth, because it really didn't, I couldn't tell, because again, it was in black and white, and you really didn't get a whole lot of it. But regardless, it still was pretty, really cool. It reminded me of Beast from X-Men Days of Future Past and X-Men Apocalypse. That's what it definitely reminded me of. I don't know if that Beast was practical or if it was CGI, but it just the vibes I got from it was like Beast from the X-Men. So that was really, really cool. They do this whole thing where like Jack is sort of on the run. It's really, really good. There's probably some references to some old classic horror movies, but regardless, it's still freaking amazing. I loved every single second of this special. It was dope. Loved it. So what was I going to say? So the ending ends up happening, and what ends up happening is Jack and Man-Thing pretty much end up killing all of Ulysses Bloodstone's associates, including Elsa Bloodstone's stepmother. Elsa Bloodstone ends up claiming the Bloodstone, so now she is fully Elsa Bloodstone as it is in the comics, which is cool. I guess that means we're probably going to be seeing her in some sort of future project, which is cool. Jack ends up waking up in like a little campfire, and it's funny because when the camera pans out, you actually see Man-Thing like playing cards. Like he has like these giant ass cards, and it's so cool to see it. And it does give Man-Thing a lot of personality in just a little bit under an hour, which is great. So I really, really did love it. The ending finishes with those two just joking. It's all about like Jack wanting to invite Man Thing to go get some sushi. So again, we're probably gonna be seeing these characters in the future, maybe in a sequel or in a horror movie or in a TV series or in a team up film, whatever it is. I'm down for it. Overall, what did I think about this special? It was great. It was sort of like an appetizer. It gives you some, but it leaves you wanting more. That's exactly what they did. And with something like this, when you're introducing specifically the supernatural side of the MCU, you know, when it comes to the MCU, we've only had like a small little tease of the supernatural side, right? Because we've had cosmic, we've had street superheroes, right? Like you got like your Daredevil, your Spider-Man, etc., and then you got your cosmic side, which is like Thor, the Guardians, the Eternals, right? And when it comes to the supernatural, we barely started with a little bit of it, right? We've had Doctor Strange, who's cool. We've had recently Moon Knight, who is really, really awesome. And now we've had a tease of like 3 heroes, being Jack Russell, Man-Thing, and also Bloodstone. And, you know, they're probably going to be doing more stuff with these characters. We know that Blade's going to be getting a movie, and he is like a crucial character when it comes to the supernatural part. But regardless of it, I am so happy with the product that we got. It was awesome. Truly did love it. I cannot wait to see where these characters appear, wherever they're going to appear. Maybe in Kang Dynasty, for sure Secret Wars. I mean, that's a given. They're all going to show up in Secret Wars, no doubt. And honestly, if I could rate it, I would probably give this... It's tricky because it's not a series and it's not a movie. It was just a one and done. If I could rate it, I would probably give it 8.5 out of 10. Just because I think they could have used a little bit more time with these characters. And I felt like they probably just could have given it a little bit more time. If they honestly could have. I'm not complaining. I want to give it a 9, but something just tells me I shouldn't. I should just give it a 8.5. But I truly did love. I'll just give it a 9. Screw it. We'll give it a 9. 9 out of 10 for me. But yeah, guys, that'll be it for the Werewolf by Night. This was a fun, exciting adventure. I wish they would have released it later. That way it wouldn't have been mixed up with She-Hulk. But regardless, Marvel is Marvel. Disney hired me or some shit. Anyway, guys, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening to the review. If you guys did enjoy the channel and this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all next time. Peace.